Right. What's the time? Coming up to 6. Okay. I don't know. Let me just adjust the light a minute. Any better? No. Yeah. Trying to get the light. Okay. Just give it a minute. Just get a few more people on here. But I was pleasantly surprised. Last week, I probably only had 80 to 100 people watching, and by the end of the week, there was thousands had watched it. So there we are. It's all good. Right. Been a bit poorly this week, a bit chesty, and I know it's a lot of it going around. I've taken the COVID test, and it was the COVID test was clear. It's just my chest. Oh, I think there's a lot of it going around. Kevin Rogers, hiya mate, nice to see you on you. Sorry about my voice, but I shall bear up with it. Good evening. Okay, do you ever use pellets as hook bait on the float on rivers? Yeah, okay. Taking a try for roach. There seems to be some caught by mistake by barbel anglers. Well, in fact, Kevin, we discussed that about a year or two ago on the Severn when we were fishing the float only matches, and basically, you're quite right. They were catching roach. They were catching these roach that you don't normally catch on the pellet, on the halibut pellet. Fishing for barbel. So then somebody came up with the idea of actually fishing the pellet, and it worked. And they were catching loads practicing, but in a match, I'm not sure. Whether it would be so efficient, mainly because there's lots of other bait going in there, casters and maggots, and maybe the fish get put off. But no, definitely. I know Dave Harrell experimented quite a lot with them on the Y. He used to use them. And again, if you go pleasure fishing, you will catch. But come a match, it's different kettle of fish. I'm sure one day somebody's going to win and or use them in a match and probably win. But yeah, and I think pellet, although it's not natural, the actual smell is natural, if that makes sense, because it's fish, isn't it? And it's like dead fish, and fish being scavengers will always seek out decaying fish or any other meat in the water. So yes, pellets will work. And they have been used, but not extensively, as far as I'm aware. As I say, they do catch the odd big roach when they're fishing a barbel, but some people who target them will actually catch a few. So definitely worth a try. I'm not sure where are you fishing, Kevin. Let me have a look. What's it say? Still, we got my 2 pairs of glasses. Right. On the float on I think okay, you're right. I know you don't all right, what you say, I know you haven't stipulated what river yet, but yeah, the Severn, the Wye, I'm sure the Trent and Avon and Bristol Avon and places would. Yeah. Oh, another Kevin. Kevin Brooks. Yeah, I'm on the Trent on Sunday, a stretch that holds a lot of barbel. Any tips, mate? Let me. Well, I'm not actually a Trent angler, am I? I think the best guy to ask is Swino. I think he'd probably know more about it. But I think they fish a pellet from him. I'm sure they do on the feeder or hemp and casters. In fact, I was going to mention about Adrian Whittle, a mate of mine who actually just qualified for the Riverfest, and he was told he was on a barbell swim, peg 14, I think, at Claythorpe's, and anyway, he's gone across, he's got a bream, and he's won the match, he's qualified. So, yeah. So I would definitely consider the feeder, obviously casters and hemp, and then meat, and obviously the pellet. Yeah. So yeah, let us know how you get on anyway, Kevin, because that's interesting. I mean, I wish the Trent was a bit closer to me. The only time I've ever fished a Trent was years ago, when I used to go up there with Kevin Ashers. We used to do a little bit of training together, and of course, times have changed. Fishing changes, done it over the years. Sometimes you catch a lot more in them days than you do now, and so. But it's worth a try. Of course, more barbel around now, isn't there, than they've ever been. Funny enough, I've been rewriting or reading the famous angler Isaac Isaac Walton, I said, and they talk about catching barbel, in the 16th century. So the fish have been around, but they're not as far widespread as they are now, of course. So right, Kevin Rogers, sorry, Clive. I live in Worcester. Oh, so usually fish the Severn and the Avon. Yes, Kevin, definitely worth a try. Actually, I wonder if you ask the other Kevin whether that could work on a Trent. Who knows? It could be the next in bait. Especially when it comes to match fishing. Soft pellet maybe, or even if you're going to fish a hard pellet, then you would probably need to to put a hair rig on. But otherwise, yeah, it's great. Hi, Stuart Nichols just arrived. Hiya, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, well, I was. I was just saying earlier, a bit of a bad chest, so excuse me coughing. And I've got to have a bit of liquid refreshments, I'm afraid. Keep the throat open a bit. Let's have a look. Right, hope you're well. What was your best days fishing in Thailand, and when are you heading on the UK Massey? Right, Stuart, I'm back now, as you know, and I've only fished 3-4 matches, and so I got to get back into the swing of things. I've had a very, very mixed fortune weekend, which I'll be talking about now in a minute. But yes, Thailand. I just been speaking to my wife, on a messenger, because we talk to each other. They're 6 hours in front, so it's like midnight there now. It's just going to bed. But all this week, I haven't done much fishing during the week because I'm still trying to chase up the visa for my daughter. I don't know if I mentioned last week, but my wife's got the visa, no problem. She had it because she's been here before. But the baby, our baby, it's been 4 months now, waiting 4 months for the visa to arrive, and there's still no sign of it. But what makes it worse is that 11 months ago, we applied for a British citizenship, with the passport, and we're still waiting for that. So I've lost my temper today. I've been speaking to my MP, and he's he basically don't seem interested. So I've written to the ombudsman, and anyway, that's another story. Let's get away from that, because it's a bit frustrating. Because I mean the fish in Thailand is brilliant. If you like big fish fishing, I did try to get the match scene going again, but unfortunately we had a couple of matches there. Didn't do particularly well. Not so many people there now like that there were before. I'm sure it'll get better as the years go on this year, and maybe even better next year. So I hope to go back there. Maybe, I don't know, this year or maybe next year. We'll see. If it all depends if I get my wife over here. If we do, then I might stay a bit longer before going home. But anyway, the best days fishing I had in Thailand. Well, do you know, we had this competition. It was on called the Colonel's Lake, and Billy Makin was there. And there was a great angler called John Harvey. Now, John Harvey, he's the current world carp record holder, and he He's also a good match angler. Well, I used to know his dad. I used to fish with him against him down on the Somerset trains, you know. And anyway, John, when I first went to Thailand 5 years ago now, I got to know him, and that's how we started the matches. We were having the head-to-heads, and then other people joined us, and then we had a few. But he's a very good angler, and I think if he stayed in this country and fished matches, he would have, you know, done exceptionally well. Anyway, we had this head-to-head, and on this Colonel's Lake, and we were catching what we call swai catfish, and these are big fish. They're like 2 kilos, you know, 3 kilos, you know, 2 to 3 kilos a piece. And anyway, I opted for the waggler, you know, and I was hooking him, and he fished the pole of all things, you know, obviously strong elastic, and he was in the corner. Anyway, I was facing him almost, and Billy Maker was up the other side. Of course, there was a few, I think, about 8 to 10, 12 anglers, I think. But it was really a 3-horse race between the three of us. And anyway, I was catching, he was catching, I catch one, he catch one. And of course, what you do, you'd have to weigh them individually because you couldn't keep them in the net, you know. And the scales was behind me, and every time they sort of weighed it, they put the fish back right in front of me. So I'm sure that spooked my fish. But anyway, don't matter. Kept going, and at the end of it, and a short 3-hour matches because it was too hot to fish anymore, because we have a break in between and have another match the second half, but nobody ever bothered the second half. We always got drunk in the bar, like. But anyway, so it was a fish for fish, and I was beating him on the count, and at the very end he pulled a string together. He just done me. I weighed in 132 pounds, and he had a 140, I think, or something like that. But yeah, it was great. And Billy, well, he had a fair weight, about 70 pounds, I think. But it's fantastic, great fishing, mine, great fishing. So yeah, Thailand's very memorable. Right, okay, Stuart. John is on YouTube too. I think he does tips, etc. Like a great guy. Yeah, well, I tell you a little story. Him and Dan, they started their YouTube channel, and they didn't have hardly anyone sort of following them. So I started promoting them. I was putting them on the match fishing page and other pages, and then gradually it built up, and now I think they got 1,000, maybe 2,000 members now. So they're catching me up, but they do it quite regular and consistent. The two of them together. And it's all about big fish fishing, you know. There's another guy, Oz, who's no, not Australian, but he's they call him Oz, I suppose, but he fishes with them as well. So yeah, good lad, John. Bit late for him to be watching this, but you never know. He might watch the catch up, and Dan Hastings is his partner. So yeah, this is all good, Yeah. So anyway, hopefully, you know, things will settle down, and maybe next year we can get back, you know. And but in the meantime, I'm going to try, as you said, you know, before, like, I'm going to try and fish a few more matches. Last week, as you saw my video on the Avon, somebody mentioned about the state of the peg. Well, as far as I'm concerned, my tackle was neat, but there was some rubbish dumped there from previously, you know. There was a trolley and all that, and I struggle. Well, in fact, I just missed out qualifying only by a few ounces, because there was a lady fishing on the end peg, and she beat me by 5 ounces, I think, for the qualifying. So anyway, but that was that, and then so we ended up just missing out, which. But I could see the Avon still the same. The first week or two was always a little bit of a mix and match, because you know, waiting for the roach to turn on, and the roach haven't turned on yet. You know, it's more perch, and one thing is surprising is there's more tench coming out now on the Avon. So I don't know if that's the same everywhere else. Oh, hiya, Neil. Okay, nice to see you. Nice for you to join us. Thanks. Yeah. So anyway, right, so which brings me along to a couple of things. First of all, Glenn Patterson, one of the lads last week, asked a question. He said, excuse me for looking away a minute. Hi, Clive. Interesting about sinking the line on a waggler on a downstream wind on a river. Well, yes, I mean, that's the way to do it. But what do you do when the main flow is on the inside as you fish over on the waggler? Now, I had that. yesterday, the problem yesterday with that. The bow is created by the flow, but you can't mend the line as it is if it's sunk and it goes obviously downstream. Um, can you overcome this, or is it just a case of fishing the feeder? No, don't fish the feeder. Well, yeah, you can fish the feeder, but what you do, this is what I say: when you fish the waggler, you don't necessarily have to bury the line, as you do. I do use on still water, but on rivers, it's a different thing. You can actually um, float the line, and if you've got a bow. If you're in the line, or if you're like the stream is faster on the inside than it is across, then obviously you're going to get a big bow in the line. But if you're using a floating line, you can actually mend it like you would a stick float or a balsa float. Obviously, it moves a little bit every time you do it, and as long as you check it now and again, you always have a little bit of a bow. But and of course, when you strike, you make sure you lift it, or bury the line and use the bow as the buffer. So yeah, that's Glenn. So if you're watching, then yeah, that's what I was doing. It is a method, it's a good method. You haven't persevered, just a bit of practice. Don't give it and just throw the feeder out. Although the feeder is obviously more direct then. I can sorry about that, lads. As I say, I'm a bit thirsty. It gives me a good reason to have a drink as well. Okay. Right then. So basically, that was that question. There was a couple of other questions, but I think I answered them last week. But if you got any questions, fire away. Yeah. Also, Graham Frith mentioned about the World Championships and the Float Champs as the most prestigious. Well, I'm just reading. Interesting. The Angling Trust next year, 2023, they're going to have a weekend. They're going to have a weekend FIPS rules, which will be one day. The first day will be a feeder national, and the second day be a float only match. And I think each team and the runner-up qualify for the World Club Championships. So that's an interesting thing. As I say, unfortunately, when I fished the World Champs, it was all the one match. That was the prestigious match. The float only. But now it's fragmented. Everything counts. I mean, they have, don't they? They have feeder matches, cap, World Cup matches. They have disability matches. They have masters, over 60s, over 50s, and juniors, and it is a bit fragmented, of course, than it was. So anyway, it's all good for fishing, I suppose, at the end of the day, isn't it? Okay. Right. Stuart Nichols, winds and breeze help massively on the river when flow fishing. I recall Bay of Purland would float and Maximus sink. That's right. Yeah, you're right there. Of course, I always make sure I got fly fishing dressing, the little with a pad in it. I always have that in my box to be able to keep the line floating. Even Maxima, excuse me. That's why we used to use light line, didn't we? We used to at one stage we used to use 1.8, but then it was more like 2.6, and these days about £3, 3.2 is what is generally used, for float fishing on the line. Okay, right now, when I spoke to you last week, I think that was just before the launch of my 4th edition of the Angling News. There you are. So it's come. I've got a couple there. I'd like to give one away. So if you stay to the end of this vlog, and I'll ask you a question, and the first one to sort of answer me will get a free issue. I'll send it to them. But it's great paper. Well, when I say it's great, because I write it, it's all about. I try to be diverse as I can. Not all match fishing, although a lot of it is match fishing, of course. But also you try to talk about other things as well. Neil Smith joined you joined the HCA as the head of District Angling, yeah. This year for the first time. Absolutely brilliant fishing on the Wye near Hereford, Chub, Babel and Dace. Yeah, do you know? Right, lads, it's a closely guarded secret. They don't like you to know, but the fishing is fantastic this time of year on the Wye. Yeah, but they don't like to spread it. They don't like to tell you because they reserve it for their members and and all that. But that's why mainly we fish the matches in the winter. We never have any matches in the summer. But yeah, some some good some great fish on the way. But keep that to yourself, boys. Right, angling news. Um, European champions 2022. Well done, England. Fair dues to them. And Mark Downs, I, I wouldn't say I don't get on with him. I do get on with Mark, you know. But Mark has been proven over the years to be a great successor, from Dick Clegg. I thought Dick Clegg was the master, of course, but Mark has come on strong. Not only has he got on and won the veterans himself, but he's helping the other teams, the juniors, the intermediates, and being included in the winning team. So fair dues to Mark. Will Rayson, he's coming. I remember Will was a young lad when I used to put my arm around him, and as I said, I said, "Oh, one day you'll be a world champion." Will. He's only won the one so far, though. I think he's had a silver, but I got good hopes that he'll probably win it again one day. He got very close to the Europeans. Was he second or third? I got a bloody picture of him on the front. Yeah, he's great. So yeah, bronze. He had third bronze. Dennis could. Hey mate. Ever fish a sliding bottle and the deeper stretches? Any tips? Yeah. Um, well, before the bolly came out, or people started using the bolognese, we used to use sliding balsas, and basically, it would be anything over 8 foot because fishing anything deeper with a fixed float is a bit cumbersome and not, you don't always get a direct contact with the fish. But with the sliders, and we used to use sliding balsas, and basically you have a little whip on the top of the float and one on the bottom, and it would, obviously slide as knots, not stops, but knots, and that's what we would do. And they work a treat. In fact, I make a sliding balsa which is shaped with a shoulder. In fact, I've got an order for somebody, and I've been meaning to do it. Just I've been a bit busy. I will try and get that order finished this week. But yeah, definitely that's how we used to do it with it before the bolly. So yeah. All right, Dennis. Oh, Neil, again. When are you going to fish the 7 again? Well, I'd love to get up there. I know my mate Russell Millwall, who I go fishing with a lot. He's trying to get me up there. He's even offered me I can stop up with him, which I did this weekend. But I'll talk about that in a minute because, as I say, a big contrast this weekend in my fishing, and I'll tell you more about that now in a minute. One thing I can say, and I've got to apologise now, lads. I made a vlog the Saturday and the Sunday, and I thought this is good content here. Anyway, when I got home, and maybe because I won too well yesterday, and I downloaded it onto the computer, and I got ready to because it's not as easy to just film. You've got to download it, and you then got to put it onto a program, and I messed up. I lost it all weekend. So I'm sorry, I can't no blog to put up this week, for this weekend, which is a big shame because I'll tell you more about that in a minute. In fact, I'll tell you now. Right, Saturday, Russell Millwall invited me again to fish the twinning on the lower Warwickshire Avon. It's threes, competition of threes, and it's run by Jim Burton, and it's in aid of the prostate, fund which he runs. Anyway, it was a great match, and I think the first year I think we won it, and I think the following year we were third, and last year I think we just missed out. And we fished again this year, and we had a great match. Well, when I say great match, it didn't fish exceptionally well. But it was an interesting match because I was 5th overall and I won my section. Mark, the other lad, was on an end peg, and we really thought he'd win the match, but he never. But he comes second in his section, and Russell comes 6th. He done well, and he ended up well, we ended up winning. I think we had 9 points. We won by at least 4 points from the next team, and some good teams there as well. So that was a great. We shared the winnings, and it was great. I'll tell you a little bit about it because if you ever fished the lower Avon, but it's very similar to the deeps in Evesham. It's slow. It's run. It's deep. When I say deep, it's 12 to 15 foot in most places, and it's bream, bream orientated, and I know the Russell's. He uses my black bream ground bait, by the way, and marked it, and I did. And what we do, it's a combination of fish meal, aniseed, and a base of wheat and some other ingredients. Anyway, it's a great mix, great for bream. And anyway, Russell's and Mark, and we all do the same. What we do, we go out the middle, fill it in, 3 or 4 big feederfuls, and then swap it over the small feeder, put it over, and then we'll catch. We'll wait. We'll guarantee to catch or get bites in the first sort of half hour. Generally, you would anyway. And Russell's gone on and won a few matches doing that. So I hope I'm not giving too much away, Russell, but that's how he does it. Anyway, so we tried again. And anyway, I don't know whether it was rain or something. It was low and clear, but the river didn't fish at all well. And I had the one bite, which I expected, and it was an eel. What a big one, but it was an nettable one, and I was happy that I saved the blank, and that was after 10 minutes, so that was good. And then I plumbed it with a little stick float inside because there was a load of lily pads inside. And in fact, where I drew peg 28, which is right opposite the boats, where they do all the moorings, and of course the height of activity on a Saturday is terrible. Music blaring and barbecues going, and in fact the boat opposite me, I hear the vibrations of the music and boom 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 boom, and the water was bloody quivering on the top. It was that bad. But anyway, so I had that fish, and I thought, well, I'm not going to catch anything across, so I concentrate on the inside. So I kept drip feeding red maggots, and I plumbed the depth first one at about 6 to 7 foot. Had a slight little flow, not a lot, but enough to keep it going in. So I kept trickling in, kept putting the float down. Anyway, after about third or fourth chuck, perch, thank you, another one, and another one, or 3 or 4, and then I had I had a little roach, I think a little roach, and that was it. And then went under, and I went like that. I went, oh my God! And it bent over. And when you ever hook a fish on small hooks, it's like, am I going to get this in? Like, and I thought, oh my God, I was praying. Anyway, eventually started bringing it up, and it went right under the lily pads, and bugger, I couldn't. So I got the landing net, and I sort of tried to shove it so it swam out, but it wouldn't. And anyway, it broke, come off. I went in 211, £5.3, I think, won the match. Would have it gone £2? I don't know. It may have gone a bit more. I don't know. But anyway, it didn't matter because they didn't pay individuals. Only the individual winner. The rest was paid. And it was enough anyway, as I said, at my 211 to win the zone, the section, and had maximum points for that. So that's how I done it. Oh, and on top of that, I forgot to mention, I went across on the Wagon, catching at about a dozen, 15 bleak up on the water as well, just to top up what I had. Because what happened, halfway through the match, I come along and they asked what I've caught. I said about a pound and a half. They said, oh, he said, you're way up the top of that. So I knew then I was probably winning the match at that stage, where I can gather. Anyway, so I thought I'd top it up with a few more bleak, and that's what I'd done. And anyway, ended up, as I said, 5th overall and winning. And then the bonus was we won the team event, which is what it's all about. And the good thing is, Jim, he actually raised over £500, with the raffles and everything else that went with it. So, hang on, I just right. It's okay. I'm just looking back at last week's video. Okay, and that was it. So it was a good result. Right. Hang on, let's answer a few questions. Kevin Rogers, have you ever incorporated a cage feeder in your rig was fishing a slide day. Just an idea for the Lower Avon. I tell you what we used to do on the Y, which I suppose could work on the Avon, and we obviously with a feeder and a float, feeder float fishing. And usually we use that when the water's up and coloured or when it's pushing through a bit. Then that's what we would do, and we'd have a tight line to it, and we'd have the bristle just in the water. So every time it shuddered or went under, you strike and you'd have a fish. So yes, that is a method, Kevin, that does work. Mainly when it's coloured, and when it's pushing through, would probably work on normal conditions. But again, let's have a look. Have you got a case where it was feeding a slider? I don't know how that would work. It would work with a pole, but I don't know if it'd work with a float because the float would drag under or whatever. I'm not sure. You'd have to give me some ideas on that, Kevin, if you've got any ideas, because I'm always willing to learn, like everyone. We always learning, aren't we? The fishing, and you might have something that you might have to think of an idea that could work, because that would yeah. I mean, because the things when you feed a fish and you're watching your tip, I'd rather watch a float go under than a tip, But there we are. It's good. Oh, Graham again, mate. I remember Peter Burrows breaking the world record with roach. What's your thoughts on the carp weights today? Well, funny you should say that, because in my angling news, I try to follow as much information as I can, and I post it in the paper, and I just noticed now on Facebook, one of the lads down the Somerset, trying to think of the water, he's weighed 490 odd pound, right? And he didn't even win the match. He was second, 500 odd pound won it. So yeah, when you think of Dave Burrows, Pete Burrows' record, but there is a difference, I think, because carp, you're talking 5 to 10 pound a piece, aren't you? So you don't need that many to get a big weight. But with a roach, I mean, you're talking like 12 ounces pound maybe, So there's a lot more fish to be caught to catch the record 300 pound. My best weights on the Blackwater, 144 pound, 135 pound, 125 pound, and that's going some, and that's pole to hand fishing. So yeah, that was good old days in Ireland on the Earn system and the Blackwater. Yeah, good old days then. So so I don't know. So what's the thoughts? Carp weights. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Fishing's fishing. If you're into commercials and carp fishing and you enjoy it, I think it's a young man's game, because obviously you need to be quite fit, I think, to catch these big weights. On the other hand, there's a skill factor. I know that. You look at Ian Hughes, Ian Hughes, that's right. He does exceptionally well, doesn't he? He's winning loads of them, like, so. Same with Andy Powers is another one. Nice young angler. Andy can actually go to natural as well. He's as good natural as he is carp fishing. So yeah, so it's not my cup of tea, Graham. But if it's other people's, then great. I don't knock it at all, because it's. In fact, I think commercial fishing has probably saved fishing generally. Because when about a few years ago, a lot of the fish was on a decline, and of course, with the advent of commercial fisheries, there's no walking. You drive into your pegs, and and it's been managed commercially. Then that was a savior, because a lot of people come back to fishing, and even turn to fishing, because of it. Out of the youngsters, So yeah, I'm not knocking it, but it's not my forte. I'd rather be natural fishing. So anyway, so what a great Saturday, and I thought, well, it can only get better, because Sunday we're on the Warwickshire Raven, and it's the teams. Well, it's eliminated. The top 6 teams qualify, go through to the final, and anyway, we had a fit team. Up until last week, we didn't have a team in, and it was only the fact that I went up there last week, and I said to Diane, I said, we always fish it, Diane. We've obviously, missed out this year. She said, well, you're in luck, she said, Clive, because we got a ticket going. Somebody just dropped out. So, oh, brilliant. So anyway, we entered the team, Senses Nomads, and we got Kevin Albee, who's a brilliant angler up there. He's always in the frame. Ivan Curry, who's a new lad, who's I say new. He sort of runs the west side of the Nomads, because years ago Cardiff Nomads were just Cardiff, but now the Senses Nomads is spread a little bit, because we've got members all over now. I don't think there's any original ones left in Cardiff except me and perhaps my mate Clive Roberts, and he don't fish that much anyway. So Ivan, he came in. Then a Hereford lad, he came in. Peter, no, he's quite a good angler on the wire. I didn't know if he was any good on the Avon, but he seemed to know what he was doing. It was myself and Russell Millwall. I mean, straight off the back of winning, the team match. So on the Saturday. So anyway, we ended it, and well, how your fortunes change. I struggled. I really did. I drew peg 31, which on paper, excuse me, looked the best peg out of the lot, because we had peg 11, peg 63, 47, and 80. No, 80 is the worst peg on the river. That's without doubt, because it's so close to 81. I knew whoever drew that was going to struggle. And unfortunately, it was Russell, who don't know the river that well anyway. But I drew 31, which I thought was a fair old draw. And when I looked at the board from the day before, Ian Shepherd, the master, the hemp master, had it, and he had £7 of it. Whether he emptied the bloody swim, probably, but I couldn't catch. I couldn't catch on the Sunday. I tried everything. I tried inside. I had a couple of little fish on the inside. I went across on the waggler. I had one little troublet, missed another bite. That was it. Then I fished the hemp on the same line that Ian would have fished, and I kept it tight. And anyway, I really struggled. Ended up with about 8 to 9 fish for 5 ounces, 12 grams. But it fished bad in that area, because you only had 11 ounces one side and 11 ounces on the other. So, one more fish, and, I could have probably done them. And that's what I needed, because Kevin Elby's come back and won his section. Done brilliant again. Ivan Curry's won his section. That was it. He was called a tench, so he's won his section. The other lad then on 47, he's weighed in £1 odd and comes 6th. Right, now bear in mind there's 15 teams. I'm last but 1. Russell's last. We got beat by 3 points for qualifying. So it's for the old game match fishing, isn't it? You can be up on one day, the next day it hits you like a wet sack. And I've been deflated, to be honest, after that, because I've let the lads down, which I very rarely do. But I know it happens. It can happen to anyone. But the fact was, I could have. All I needed was a few more ounces, and we would have qualified. And mind, we still got another chance. I think in a couple of weeks' time, I think we entered another team. So yeah. But again, I think what happened, looking at the river overnight, it had a bit of rain, and it just hit the river like you wouldn't believe, and there was low weights all the way through. Our big fish being caught and that sort of thing. But there you are. So, but it's a shame I didn't have my camera. Well, I had my camera, but I lost it in the software. Transferal. I checked everything. I even went online to see if I can get one of these, a data recovery software. But I tried it. It didn't work. I don't know where it's gone. You never know. I might even find it. If I do, I'll put it up. But it's not looking good. Not looking good. Oh, right. Oh, Neil Smith, do you ever fish hemp seed and tares for the roach Clive? Well, yeah. Well, fine enough. I fished the hemp then yesterday. Depends where you fish, of course, on the hemp, because different rivers got different patterns. The Wallace Raven, it's very tight, very small, minimal, like grains going in on a regular basis. And then there's other places where you can actually blast it in. And I don't know if I've ever told you the story where I was doing a video with Phil Briscoe from Maver Tackle, I think it was at the time. And anyway, we went on the 45th drain, and he showed me a method of blasting the hemp in, with just a few maggots and blasting it. And we were catching roach like that. And I thought, ooh, that's a good method. Seemed to work there. I wonder if it'd work anywhere else. So I went down to the Bristol Avon about a week or two after that. It was the South England Pole Championships. And I thought I'd try it, what have I got to lose now, So, and I was in an area which don't normally produce. So I started blasting it. And next thing you know, I started catching. And I went on and won the match. So 17 pound on the pole, on the hemp, and that was a different thing. So I blasted it. But I've also gone on and fished the Bristol Avon again, and actually, I was third in one match fishing hemp and tares. So yeah, I do fish it. Years ago, when we were young, we used to fish our local Road Park Lake, and that's where we learned hemp fishing. Because I don't know if you see my blog, how to hook hemp, but there's a couple of ways of doing it, and the best way, if you want to know now, Neil, just in case you get interested. But if you get hold of a hemp, right? Let's imagine that's the hemp. You got your split, and on the top you got your crown. You got your crown hemp. You get your hook, right? Make sure it's a sharp one. You push it through the crown. Okay, push it through so it comes out through the seed. Okay, so you got a hook like that. Once that's on, it won't come off. Okay. All this nonsense about putting it in the clamping it on the shank and things like that's a waste of time, because it'll come off in no time at all. But if you do it that way, you'll see on the hook. And in fact, you can catch fish after fish on this sometimes. Okay, so that's a little tip there for you. Tares, yeah. I think the theory behind the hemp is the fish like it. And I think the theory is that they think it's the natural snails that live in the water. But I know fish, once they got the taste of it, they love it. And as I said, Ian Shepherd on the Bug Trade, he got it down to a fine art. Whenever he goes there, he'll catch. If he don't win the match, he's in the frame. So I've had a chat with him a few times. He's tried to put me right, but you can never copy anyone. You've got to do it yourself. You got to learn it to do it yourself, haven't you? But tares used to work on there. Tares work anyway. The secret is, though, I don't think not to put tares into the swim. You could put a couple in maybe, but you fish tares over the hemp. That's the way to do it. Okay, Neil. Thanks for that question. Anyway, Dave. All right. Oh, Devon. Oh, hi, mate. I haven't spoke to you for a while, have we? Grave catching roach the world is a non-brainer, mate. Oh yeah, compared to these commercial anglers fishing ponds. So overstop with carp, you can walk across. Hey, we're not going to get too controversial now, Devonshire. No, I know what you're saying. And don't forget, carp are weaned on pellets from an early age, and and that's all you catch them on, really, don't you? Pellets and paste. Anyway, that's it. That's the. Oh, I hate how time is flying, isn't it? Today, 3/4 an hour already. Okay. So basically, as I said, congratulations to Adrian Whittle. By the way, it was a good result from an unfancy peg. It's the same faces getting all the time. Have you noticed? Right. Just quickly go through my angling news. Okay, in case you haven't bought one yet, it's only $5.99 from Amazon, and if you buy two, you get free delivery, don't you? I think if you spend, unless you've got a Prime account, then you get a free delivery. But I tried to do my best. There's full details of all the what's inside. My page 3 girl. It's a nice one there, look. Something from me. Talking about fishing, of course. And right now, this was an interesting article I put together, and this was by Fergal Sharkey. He talks about pollution. Now, as you know, I follow pollution, because if we don't, then who will? put it that way. And he talks about the Northern Ireland troubles and the environmental struggles and that. But it's interesting. He's a champion of clean river, clean waters. The River Trust as well. They got a share of 36 million for helping clean the waters up. Is it sad thing? Mystery: 1,000 dead fish in a Glasgow pond. Yeah, nobody's putting their hands up to it, but I hate to see fish. And I made a little fact. This is a fact here. I looked this up. Only 14% of English rivers meet good ecological status, with pollution from agriculture, sewage, roads, single-use plastics contributing to a dangerous chemical cocktail coursing through our waterways. Not a single river in England and Wales has received a clean bill of health from the chemical contamination. Sad, isn't it? It's terrible. But there you are. Anyway, I got some news as well. That was a good send-off. By the way, Tony Locke, one of the London lads who goes to Thailand, he was a friend of Billy Macon, and they had a little bit of a wake themselves in Thailand on the day that let's have a look. When Dave Vincent on his wake. So that was great news. Anyway, England, I got a few pages all about England winning the gold, striking gold, and mill raising, of course. Yeah. So a nice little collector's item, isn't this, for somebody for the future? And then I talked about start of the river season, fish being caught. As I said, it always takes a week or two, doesn't it, to get the rivers going. Take a Friend fishing is back. That's in August now. So, Take a Friend fishing. All information in there. Billy Macon actually done an article. I'll start off by saying, "'Twas little more than a couple of weeks ago, as I sat in my bar in Jenny's Bar here in Pattaya, Thailand, with my old mate Clive Branson, discussing life in general, which he normally does, and on the many twists and turns that both our paths have followed." And it's right, yeah. When he asked me to pen an odd piece or two for his new magazine. Anyway, he's a great writer. I love, So I had a little plug on his books as well, Tits and Teeth. So anyway, catches of the month. Des Taylor report. Des Taylor's specimen anglers. Don't know if you've ever seen that eel. Look at the size of that eel there. Massive thing. Yeah. Big tench coming up, of course, for the spawn, aren't they, this time of year? This is where records are broken in there, with tension carp. And then let's have a look. What else we got? Oh, I do a Julian Cundiff. He kindly let me, copy and paste his information. I also got an article by the great late Dick Walker about carp fishing. Interesting to read. Teddy Edmonds, a long-range casting champion, if you want to learn how to long-distance casting. So, all right. Neil Smith, can't beat the rivers, Clive. That's how to learn to fish. You're right there. Yeah. I agree. I love it. Well, I like rivers because they keep moving, don't they? With the latest still water stays still, don't it? Got a junior page as well. That's interesting. Some new latest developments for the juniors. Actually, just been sponsored as well. But that's good. Oh, good. Nice to see the junior side coming through. Also do a veterans page as well for the old ones like us. That's an interesting. I actually wrote that a little bit before England actually won the. That's about the veterans, because they actually came third, didn't they? Remember I mentioned last week. Jeff Cooper, he's doing a month. He's from he lives in Ireland, but he's from England, and he does a nice article now about this article's about the fish in the slider. So there you are. If you want to know anything about the slider, it's quite interesting. On that one. Angling disabilities. Also got ladies, May Potter. She's a pin-up girl. she's happy to, for me to pass on her information as well. Ladies team, nationals, international news, markdowns again. God, you've seen this. Oh, Bob Nudd as well. Nice to see Bob. He's just come back from holiday, 2 weeks in sunny Spain, I think it was. And he's come back on his winning ways. So that'll be in the next article. Jamie Robbins, well, the Cadence man, he won the match, first match. Loads of canal reports. Anyway, you'll have to read it because it goes on. There's also commercials in there as well. Little competitions, little jokes as well. So there we are. Anyway, that's my plug for my magazine. Okay, lads. Well, as I say, I can't really talk about that much this week because obviously my vlog, I didn't put the vlog up. If I do find it, if I do manage to salvage it, which I doubt it, then I will put it back up. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for the next one next week now. Never mind. Life's all full of disappointments, and I certainly had it this week, haven't I? Having the highs on a Saturday and the lows on a Sunday. Never mind. That's what Match Vision's all about, isn't it? Okay. All right, lads. I'll leave it at that then today because, to be honest, I'm still full up with this virus on my chest. It's a lot better than it was. I'm still coughing and spluttering. And I'm finding it a bit tasking on the old vocal cord. So I'm sure I'll be okay next week. I might even go fishing during the week as well if I'm up to it, and I'll put a blog up on that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I wish you well. Tight lines. If you've got any questions, always pop them along. I can always answer them for next week. Hopefully I'll see you next Monday, all being well. And if anything major to report, I'll obviously bring it to you first if I can. Because this is a great thing with the internet, isn't it? I mean, where you have to wait a month or possibly a week to get news. These days, you can get it almost as it happens, which is fantastic. As I said, the Facebook page, Match Vision, if you're not a member, pop along and join. You're more than welcome. There's over 27,000 members on there. And if you want to ask questions there, and people are always putting stuff up there. I do get a lot of spam on it, man. I must admit, a lot of people still think it's a match dating site. Oh my God. I got one of them as well, but that's for the Asian women. So anyway, okay, I think that's about it. Just a quick plug. Don't forget my complete handbook of angling. That's out now. Fishing Guide Wales. Huge 600 venues, all coloured, all inside, all diagrams how to get there. And don't forget my complete float fishing manual. $14.95, and it's I think it's worth every penny because it's got all the floats imaginable, diagrams, illustrations, how to use them, history of them, basically everything. Okay. Right. I was going to pose a question for you to win an angling news magazine. Right. There was a famous angler who, as far as I'm aware, he was on, on television many years ago, and he had great information in the back of his head, and he entered this, I think it's W Money or Open the Box competition. I never get it. I was only a youngster at the time, so a lot of you lads probably won't know this one, but if you can tell me who his name is, the first one who can, will get a free copy of my Angling News paper. So you can either leave that as a message on here, or you can message me on the Facebook. So whichever. So there you are. It's a little task for you. What can I say? Any clues about him? Trouble is, he's such a well-known angler, that I've only got to mention one thing, and who he was. He was a great, great, great lad. He called me the Welsh Wizard once. Anyway, nice to meet you all again. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next week. Oh, hang on, Neil's just asked a question. Do you use cadence rods for all your fishing, Clive? Yes. Yeah. I have got a microlight that I still use now and again, but mainly the cadence. Yeah, the cadence are very good rods, and for the value for money as well. Um, you know, I'm not going to say they're better than acrylite, because I think the acrylites are really good, but value for money, they are probably the best for the value for money. Okay, I'm sure other people got other opinions, so Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching again. It's nearly an hour, so I've managed to fill my hour without my voice breaking too much. Hopefully, I'll see you next time, and hopefully, I'll get a vlog up and maybe a bit more informative. I know people have said about the camera angles. I got to get that right, behind me, to the side, and even in front of me, So maybe that's something I got to work on, But I'm sure when I get it right, I think, you might enjoy it. And I will keep a running commentary, because when you're fishing, things come into your mind. And I remember when I first made the videos, going back 30 odd years ago, the director said to me, just say what comes into your mind. So, and that's what I do. I try to read the water, thinking where the fish are, and the change of the baits, and why I'm doing it, and why, so yeah, it all helps. And it's good viewing then, isn't it? Hopefully. Oh, I gotta go. My voice is going up. Anyway, thanks for coming, and hope to see you next week.